totally sure what and one.
Leads into the cup and laid it in as Pearl. Team fouls on San Antonio. Lillard initiates the offense. Hand off from Grant. A three up. Team fouls on San Antonio. Lillard initiates the offense. 14 fouls on San Antonio. To the cup and laid it in as Pearl got caught. 14 fouls on San Antonio. Lillard.
Totally sure and one.
Leads into the cup and laid it in as Pearl. Team fouls on San Antonio. Lillard initiates the offense. Hand off from Grant. A three up. Team fouls on San Antonio. Lillard initiates the offense. 14 fouls on San Antonio. To the cup and laid it in as Pearl got caught. 14 fouls on San Antonio. Lillard.
All right, what's going on, Blazer fans? A big night for your Portland Trailblazers coming off the 6-game road trip where they went 4-2. And like I said, good teams find ways to beat bad teams at home. And I was anxious to see how they would respond with their energy and their focus level tonight. And I think there were so many things about this win that were satisfying. But I think the first thing we got to start with is this recipe for success that we've seen from the 2022-2023 Portland Trailblazers so far. They're 10-4. They sit atop the Western Conference. But the common theme that I've seen so far is multiple guys making game-winning plays in every single game that they win. It's not about Dame. It's not about Ant. It's not about one guy. It's multiple guys stepping up to make a contribution, and tonight was a perfect example of that. Now, was it a perfect game? No. They made plenty of mistakes. Did they lose their focus at times tonight? Yes. But it doesn't matter. The key is doing whatever is necessary to come together as a unit to scratch out victories, to pile up wins. And that's exactly what they're doing right now. And the best part is they're finding ways to win games late with their defense. How about Dame tonight? My favorite part of the game was when Dame had the block when he was getting posted up, which resulted in a foul, and he turned and went right to the crowd and started flexing, and then he comes down. Blazers are up 107-106, and he hits the three. I mean, that was a great sequence. It was a badass sequence from Dame. And he wasn't even the best player on the floor tonight. That was a great, great play. And then Josh Hart had one of the plays of the game with the steal and the jam. It was defense that created the energy. It was defense that got them back in the game. And it was their defense leading to good offense, which put them over the top. The Blazers were down 106-100 midway through the fourth quarter after that Jakob Poeltl tip-in shot. And then they responded and went on a 17-4 run. Look at the run. Look at the way they played. And again, long stretches during the game, they weren't rebounding well. They lost focus on defense. Turnovers were an issue, but when they had to, they came up big with their defense, their energy, and the connection they have as a unit in the clutch, and they got the job done. It is the fifth quarter. I am Chad Doing, along with Chris Burkhardt. The Blazers get the win tonight, 117-110 at Moda Center, taking out the San Antonio Spurs. They're now 10-4 on the season. They sit atop the Western Conference with two more games on this three-game homestand. Brooklyn will be in town on Thursday with Kevin Durant, and the Utah Jazz are in town on Saturday. If you want to jump on board, I would love to get your take on what you saw tonight. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. 503-248-0620. Also, you can join us on YouTube. We are streaming the show live right now. We have put a link out on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter at Chad Rip City or Rip City Radio. The link is there. You click it, and you can watch it live and see what's going on behind the scenes. Or you can just go to YouTube and search Rip City Radio, and you'll see the live link from the homepage. So jump on board and join us via YouTube. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. I'll go to the phones here in a couple of minutes. But tonight, great effort, great defense down the stretch, and they overcame multiple mistakes to be able to get the win. And again, good teams find ways to win on nights when they don't have their best stuff. But I mentioned that strength in numbers has really been what this team is about so far this year. Look at tonight. Jeremy Grant had a team-high 29 points. He was 6 of 8 from downtown. It's so awesome that they made the move to bring in Grant, and right now he's playing the best basketball of his career. He was sensational tonight. Damian Lillard, understanding the situation and realizing that other guys had the shot, they were providing better offense. He once again took a back seat and became facilitator. Double-double for Dame, 22 points, 11 assists, and provided great energy on defense. And he mentioned this after the game, and we'll hear from him, but he was right. He was talking about the defense and that block he had when he was getting posted up. He understands that when he's out there giving that type of effort and expending that type of energy on defense, the impact it's going to have on his teammates, especially the younger players. When your star player is sacrificing and making those type of plays, it sends a direct message to everybody else. It's like, oh, man, look at what Dame's doing out there. If he's going to play like that, then we have to do the same thing. So I really like Dame's game tonight. And what's been nice so far this year with the emergence of other players, whether it's Ant or Grant, you're seeing a pattern here where Dame doesn't have to be the go-to guy and, really carry them offensively night in and night out. That's going to save energy for him, and it's going to make the team more difficult to defend, which is beautiful. That's the way you want to play it. Also tonight, Anthony Simons, 23 points. He was 5 of 10 from 3. So you had 3 guys with 20 or more, and then off the bench, Shaedon Sharpe, one of the best games he's had this year, 13 points, 5 of 7 from the floor. He was terrific to start the game. He got just over 22 minutes of action tonight. But one of the key players tonight, and they needed every minute and every ounce of energy he brought them. And it's the guy on the roster that I was completely wrong about. I blew it in my assessment on Drew Eubanks. Tonight, Eubanks came in 33 minutes, 9 points, 7 rebounds, had an assist, 4 of 5 from the field, and he really changed the game with his energy, with his defense, with his hustle, and you could see the impact he had on his teammates. And it was big because it was on a night when Nurk was struggling to get his footing. Nurk did not play well tonight, and in the box score, Drew Eubanks recorded a ridiculous plus 28 in the plus-minus. Nurk was minus 21. Now, I don't care about plus-minus for a game, but it shows the impact that Eubanks has been able to have. I give him all the credit in the world. And the Blazers are getting quite the bargain from a guy at a vet min, playing that hard with that much energy and bringing that much production to the floor. Now, the game as a whole, these are the type of games that I talked about. You remember, I say this all the time. 82 games is a long season. You're not going to have your best stuff on most nights because you're flying in and out of different cities. You're playing all these games. You don't get to practice a ton. So your offense is not always going to be there. You're going to have nights when you're not making threes, when you go 3 or 4 minutes without a bucket. So how do you find ways to scratch out wins on those nights when you don't have your best offense? Well, you do it through your defense by manufacturing points, by getting stops until you get into a position where you can make shots, and that's what they're able to do tonight. And that's what winning basketball is all about. And you do it on a night against a team you know you should beat coming off a long road trip when it's easy to drop a game at home. But they didn't let that happen. And over the last few seasons, this is a game they would have lost, but not tonight because of their new identity. This team is not the same team we've seen over the last few years. And that's because Chauncey Billups has laid a foundation for how he wants these guys to play on both ends and do it with energy. And as a result, they're now taking on the personality of their coach. This is a tougher team. It's a more physical team. It's a team that doesn't mind getting dirty. It's a team that's willing to expend more energy and play defense. It's a team that talks defense. They talk about being tough. We joke about it all the time, right? About them talking about being dogs. Well, it's starting to show up now in these games. And that's a team you can respect. And you got to love it when they go out there and play like that. They got hammered in the paint tonight. They coughed it up 17 times and gave the Spurs 31 points. But in return, they forced 19 turnovers of their own and were able to convert that into 25 points. So with their defense, they're able to lessen some of the damage from their turnovers tonight. But I don't care so much about the turnovers because it's showing more of an effort to move the basketball, to have better distribution, and get more players involved. And that is a beautiful thing. All right, let's go out to the phones. I want to hear your voice, 503-248-0620. We'll start out in Kenny in Vancouver. Kenny, what's up? Welcome to the fifth quarter.
Whew, great win, Chad. You hit it on the head. I mean, this is a game that no way in hell this team wins in the past. I've seen too many of these games, and they went down the crapper. And this team is different. This team doesn't allow that to happen. They work their butts off. Yeah, when the hard work isn't working, they work harder. And I am just so impressed with this win tonight. I'm going to give Nurk, I'm going to give you a mulligan tonight. But it was a trash effort from the get-go. You missed a half-a-foot shot, and then you got the rebound, which is great, and then you missed the second shot was worse than the first. You got to dunk that, man. Watch Drew Eubanks. That guy is all heart, and he makes it happen. And when he's inside, more than not, he makes a shot. So, Nurk, you get this one off, but you better come through big time against the Nets on Thursday because that effort was as bad as I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, hey, Kenny, what movie is that? Anger Management with Adam Sandler at the beginning with that guy in that therapy session who's a Philly fan, and he's listening to the game in therapy, and all of a sudden he gets red-faced. He's like, you got to dunk that bleep, man. You got to dunk that bleep. That's what Nurk's got to do. You got to throw it down.
That little cupcake throw up he did first, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And then he follows it up with a cupcake. I'm like, I was already incensed from the first 30 seconds of the game. But the rest of the team was amazing tonight, and like you said, on a night when the shots aren't going, man, the defensive effort. And for all those who like to hammer Dame about defense, it wasn't just the block that was beautiful. I watched him all night, and he was again like a crazed dog running around, getting his hands in there, just being relentless. And this team's bought in. It's awesome. Thanks, Chad.
You got it, Kenny. I appreciate that. Good phone call, 503-248-0620. My buddy Chris Burkhardt is here. Chris, they did what they needed to do to get the win.
Yes, they did.
Multiple guys stepped up. It wasn't pretty, but it doesn't have to be, man. Defense created a lot of that offense late in the game, and I love that.
You got to love that. And again, Chad, it's one of those games, man. The depth pays off. Drew Eubanks coming up big, showing a little bit of fire. Damian Lillard, too. When's the last time you saw him roar into the first row like he did there late in the game? The depth, man. Our Preston, our new producer who's afraid to be on camera on YouTube, go follow the link on Twitter, friends. You'll find it. Hey, like he pointed out, hey, look who's playing crunch time minutes. Wasn't Nurk. It was Eubanks, man. Billups going where he needs to go strong. Here, a quick stat, too. Quick stat. You know that Jeremy Grant has only hit 5 or more three-pointers in a game 10 times in his entire career, and he's done it 3 times this season already. Pretty incredible.
He was terrific tonight. What a perfect fit he is. He's shooting the heck out of the ball. He's playing with confidence, and his defense, Chauncey talked about it before the game, his length, his defense, his smarts allows them to do so many different things on the floor and be versatile. And he plays hard. I mean, the guy, he's a smart player. He and Dame have a great connection. And now I think we're starting to see why Dame wanted him on this team so bad. Let's go out to Lance in Portland. Lance, welcome to the fifth quarter. You're up. Fire away.
Hey, yeah. So I'm really excited this early in the season. I haven't been in a long time. And the reason being, we finally seems like we have that team that have those role players you see on other championship teams that'll maybe play less minutes and they embrace a role because they're trying to get that ring. And I'm excited. Dame's not even back into his form yet, so we have that to look forward to. Gary Payton II hasn't even played yet. And they got that dirt dog fight in them, like Wu-Tang, dirt dog.
That's right. You got to love it. We want that fight. I can't wait to see Gary Payton II. How is Coach Billups going to figure out the rotation when he is in the mix? Think about the combinations they can throw out there defensively once he is back. Thursday's a possibility. It sounds like the abdomen, the core is no longer an issue. They're just trying to get his conditioning up to get him back on the floor where he can start playing once again for the Blazers. Let's go out to Canby. Tim and Canby. Tim, what's up, man? Welcome to the fifth quarter.
Hey, how are you tonight?
Fabulous.
Awesome. Hey, first time I've ever talked to you. Hey, listen, I don't want to waste your time, but just real quick. You know, this is pretty neat, seeing these young guys step up, but the league is going to figure out a way to defend the Blazers, and we're not that good. So I still say we got a 41-41 team, and I don't know what you think about that. I remember listening to you at the end of the season last year, talking about when they were not really trying to make things happen, but you expressed your disappointment, and I think it's coming. I think you got a 41-41 team, and everybody's a little jacked up about this 8-3, 9-3, 10-3 start, whatever it is, but I don't think it's going to last.
All right. Thanks for being a wet blanket, Tim. Really appreciate that. They are 10-4 right now, and you're right. It's early. Maybe it won't last. But there are multiple things, Tim, that are happening right now that none of us anticipated that would lead me to believe that they've got some staying power. Number one, you're getting great production from the bench. Didn't expect that, but multiple guys, including the rookie Shaden Sharp, who scored 13 points tonight. Drew Eubanks is much more than I thought he was. You're getting good play from Justice Winslow. Gary Payton II is not even in the lineup yet. And that combination of guys who are producing off the bench, and I didn't even name Nasir Little, and then you look at the starting lineup. The key there is Dame is back healthy, and you're getting the best play in his career from Jeremy Grant. Josh Hart is an energy guy. Tonight was a perfect example for Josh Hart. He didn't score well, played 34 minutes, but he had 6 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists to go along with 3 steals, including the key steal and dunk late in the game that sealed it for Portland. So, are they a championship roster? Probably not. Are they better than what we thought they were? Absolutely. Are they going to put themselves in a position to be a legitimate playoff contender in the West if they keep playing like this? No question about it. So we'll see how things continue to develop. My hope is they continue to play at this clip and then put themselves in a position at the trade deadline where Joe Cronin can go out and add that other piece to take them to the next level. 503-248-0620. I just don't understand, like, how can you watch that game tonight and see the start they've had? They're 6-2 on the road. They're coming off the 4-2 road trip. They get this win tonight. They're playing good defense. They're getting production from the bench. Like, how can you watch that and your big takeaway is, yeah, I still see a 41-41 team? It might be, but how can that be your vibe coming off of what you've seen so far? Maybe it could be that myself and many others were just wrong about what this team is going to be. That's quite possible. Let's go out to Tony in Portland. Tony, welcome to the fifth quarter. You're up. Fire away.
Good evening, Chad.
Well, hi. Did you
A
find
wet
Travis
blanket,
Demers
that
at the game
sounds-
tonight?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I did. I did find him and made some eye contact. We had a nod, so, I don't know if he knows or he's just being nice, but yes, I did on the way out. I did find him. So thank you.
Excellent.
Hey, a wet blanket. Is that maybe what you were sitting on your show earlier today that caused you to be a little bit moist?
No, it was too hot in the studio, and it has been this week. It's ridiculous, man. The thermostat in here is jacked up.
You realize when you get older, you get colder, but we don't want to say that to the Godfather.
It's true.
Hey, tonight is the last night. This is it. You do not have to apologize for being wrong about Eubanks. No more, dude. That guy, I got the best seats I ever had tonight. 6 rows, pretty much dead center. Just, the red, front row red seats behind the black. That was quite an experience. The Spurs kind of remind me of us last year where, there's no star player, but they played so hard. Their defense was ridiculous. I mean, it was very difficult for the Blazers to get anything done tonight. And it just, Popovich doing his thing again. Our team, it's almost like the Costanza theory, like, let's just do the freaking opposite. It's like the total opposite of what Stotts, had going for this team. With Stotts was all offense. We're, pretty much all defense now. We got a coach that plays young players a lot a minute. Dude, seeing Shaden Sharp up. I didn't even realize, you say he scored like 13 points? Is that correct?
Yep.
It was so quiet. We had that he almost had that lob, dunk, and that's what everybody's waiting for. You'd hear the crowd just like gearing up for that. Everybody kind of saw it happening, and that was just awesome being that close and just a totally different perspective on basketball. To be honest with you.
Yeah, no, it's great, man. I'm glad you had a chance to see it up close, Tony. And this team is playing a great brand of basketball, and I think we all know this, right? If you want to be a legitimate contender in the NBA, you got to be a top 10 defense, and you've got to have a system in place where guys know what they're supposed to do, how to communicate, and they stay connected. That is key. And if you can do that, and you can get stops, and then along with that, you've got offense, and you've got guys who can make plays, you're going to be a pretty good basketball team. And they're doing a lot of the things that you need to do to be a good basketball team right now. And we'll see if they're able to continue this, but the energy, the effort, and, of course, health is going to continue to be a big key. But so far, I love it. Your telephone number is 503-248-0620. You can join us on YouTube. We have tweeted out the link to our live link. You can take a look inside the studio. If you dare, take a look at my ugly mug. And it's also on our homepage, Rip City Radio on YouTube. You can go there and see the live link. And check us out. We'll interact with you on YouTube. We'll take your phone calls. The lines are juiced up, so hit me up right now, 503-248-0620. I want your take on what you saw tonight. If you were at the game, You can share with us what the atmosphere is like. 503-248-0620. Blazers over the Spurs, 117-110. They're now 10-4 and sit atop the Western Conference. You got the fifth quarter on your home of the Blazers, 620 Rip City Radio. All right, fifth quarter, Chad doing here. Telephone number 503-248-0620. You can jump on board, 503-248-0620. Also, check us out on YouTube. We're there live right now. You can just check out the live link from our Rip City Radio page. We also tweeted out a link. You can follow me there at Chad and Rip City or Rip City Radio. The phones are juiced, so we're going to go to the phones. 503-248-0620. Great team win tonight. That's the recurring theme of this group so far this year, right? Strength in numbers, where it's not one or two guys, it's multiple guys. Shaden Sharp, check.
Hey there, Rip City Radio.
Drew Eubanks, check. Dame and Jeremy Grant, check. So many different guys who are making game-winning plays. Josh Hart was immense tonight with his defense, his energy, and that steal and dunk late in the game was money. 503-248-0620. Chad Doing and Chris Burkhardt here. The Blazers now will get a day off, and they'll host the Brooklyn Nets on Thursday at Moda Center. They are, by the way, 10-4, and they sit atop the Western Conference. Let's go out to the phones. Joshua Baker's back. Fifth quarter. Josh, you're up. What's up, buddy?
Hey, 10-4, 10-4, good buddy.
That's right.
Top
Good
of
old
the
10-4,
Western
buddy.
Conference. Yeah.
Dude, so great.
Come on.
How was that atmosphere at Moda tonight, bro?
It was loud. It was fun. It was exciting. Come on. How can you not be juiced about this?
Yeah, it's such a surprising start to the year, and so many different guys are making plays. So I can't point to just one guy. It's like I love seeing so many different guys involved, and very pleased so far with the coaching staff and the way Chauncey's got these guys to buy in, and it has them on the same page, and they're speaking the same language.
I mean, I think this is the team we've all been waiting for. This could be something special this year, not a wet blanket. Wet blankets need to go into the drying machine and become a non-wet blanket. Come on, Camby, get in it. And also, I want to say, Chad, I know you see my TikToks. I have team shirts. I'm off the next 3 days. I want to give you a team shirt, bro.
Well, let's connect.
Let's connect. Next 3 days. If you're free tomorrow, let's have lunch. Lunch, team shirt. I'll post it. It'll be a great thing. Blazers are 10-4 atop the Western Conference. Got your favorite sports clips. Monica here. You might get a haircut from her this week, too. That'd be cool.
I like that. I saw the pictures.
Does she want to say anything?
Hello.
What's up? What's up, Monica? Welcome back. All right. What days are you off? The next 3 days?
I'm off the next 3 days, yeah.
All right. Well, text me, and then we'll figure out a time and we'll connect, because it'd be great to get a chance to see you and to get a team shirt, too. I'd be down with that.
That'd be awesome. We have black, red, blue, green, pink, and orange. What color?
Black.
Black, okay, black. And then just shoot me your size. I'm guessing a medium.
Usually medium is pretty good. Yeah, I think that should probably work.
Yeah, buddy.
Okay. So wait a second.
All right, well,
Did you go
hey,
to the game
love
with
you.
Monica again tonight?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's awesome. Monica, good for you. Josh, good for you. You're living the life. Hit me up and we'll connect, buddy.
All right, sounds good. Love you, bro.
Have a good night.
Have a good night, Monica and Josh. Yeah, Josh, the UPS guy. Amazing that his wife lets him roll the Blazer games with his hairdresser. Some guys dream about that stuff, and then you've got Josh who's just living out the dream. Hey, honey, you okay at being at home with the kids if I roll to the Blazer game with my hairstylist? Oh, yeah, sure, that's no problem. That's twice.
I told my wife that after the very first night he called in, and
What was her reaction?
she yeah, that was it. Like, no way.
Oh, it's so good. I think Travis Demers told us if he were to try the same thing, he wouldn't be going home after the game. That's a no-go. Josh is working it, man. Nice work, buddy. Let's go out to Susie. Susie, welcome to the fifth quarter. You're up. Fire away.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Thanks
Let
for
me
calling
pull
in.
over, driving home from the game. So I wanted to tell you, we were able, my mom and I, my parents have had season tickets for 52 out of the 53 years.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to a meet and greet tonight right after the game, and it was with Eubanks and Keon Johnson.
Oh, sweet.
But I wanted to tell you what Eubanks said, which was pretty cool. I didn't realize he came from the Spurs, and he said, those guys are like my brothers. You know, I have a lot of family there. And he said, last year, we got killed by them like 3 times. And he said, because Todd was there interviewing him, and he said, what was that like at the end? He goes, there's no way I was going to let them win that game. And then he pulls his shirt down a little bit and has these 2 big red scratches on his neck. So it was pretty cool.
Isn't that great? And you know what's awesome about that is that he's a local guy from Troutdale, and he's getting a chance to play for his hometown team. And he's exceeding all expectations, Susie. He looks great out there. He was really the key player and reason that they were able to get back in the game tonight because of his energy, defense. He was Johnny on the spot.
Yep. And, the other thing is I think Nurk's hurting more with he's got some kind of side abdominal pull.
Yeah.
Because if you watched him, he was not getting up there, and I kept telling Mom, get Eubanks in the game. Get Eubanks in the game. And sure enough, he pulled through in the end, which is just awesome. And I have a prediction.
Yes, what is that?
I'm going to put this out here, that Shaden Sharp is going to get Rookie of the Year.
Wow. I would love that. And if he continues to play like this, he'll put himself in the conversation.
Yeah, he was 5 of 7 tonight for 13 points. Yeah. He's just been amazing. So I would love to see that.
So just for the record then, your family's had season tickets for 52 out of the 53 years?
Correct.
Oh.
Correct. And my aunt started the Blazer Booster Club way back when. And in fact, when she passed away, we found her original stuff that they used to carry around in the Memorial Coliseum, like, banners and stuff, and they would carry around, try and get people to join the Booster Club.
That's great. You know what's great about that, Susie? I actually go and I speak and have spoken to the Booster Club multiple times, and I love doing it, but I think that Portland is the only team in the NBA now with a Booster Club, and I love the Booster Club, and it's very official with the way they conduct their meetings, and I think it's really cool. It's like, of course, the Blazers have a Booster Club. It fits perfectly for this town. It's great.
Exactly. And I grew up with that, and it's just awesome.
Well, I'll tell you what, Susie, you know what's awesome? You calling into the 5th quarter and making the show better. I appreciate that.
Oh, well, thank you.
And is your mom with you right now?
She is, and we actually yelled at you a couple years ago when you were towards the end, after we always sit there and wait for everybody to clear out. And we yelled because we said, show me your blazer. And we both had on the show me your blazer.
That's right. I remember.
Shirt. And you came over and we sat down and we talked for a while, and we've got the best picture with you. And,
That's right.
So
I remember that, and it's awesome. So I'm glad you guys called in, and thanks for sharing the story about Drew. I think everyone's happy for him, and I was wrong in my assessment on him. He has been playing his tail off. So
yes,
happy
you were.
about that. Way wrong. I was way off, Susie.
Yes. I think it has to do with heart. When somebody has, just an amazing heart and they play with that, they go all out. And that's part of what Dame does, Josh Hart, Winslow, everybody's doing that. I mean, they're just putting everything into it.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I tell you what, Susie, you and your mom have a wonderful night, and feel free to call into the 5th quarter whenever you please.
Aw, thank you. All right, take care.
There you go. What do you think about that story, Burkhart? I didn't even think about that angle, but Eubanks was extra juiced tonight. That's why he wanted to get over on his former team.
Oh, absolutely.
I love
he did.
that.
Can't blame him at all. And what do I think about that story? Hey, I'm going to keep talking about our boy Preston. He's the new guy. He just sat there and goes, gosh, this is a really good caller.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Susie was awesome. She nailed it. And I do remember them yelling at me. And I went over there and had a chance to meet him a couple of years ago at Moto. That was pretty sweet. Let's go back out to the phones. We know this guy right here, Duke, the UPS man. Duke, it's great to have you on. What's up, man? 5th quarter, fire away.
Rip City. What's going on, Chad?
Dude,
How
it's
you
so
doing?
good to hear from you, man.
Dude, I love it. I love it. I'm sitting here outside the called in. I'm here in the home of Drew Eubanks, the gateway to the gorge, Troutdale, Oregon.
That's right, man. He killed it tonight. He was critical in the Blazers' win tonight over the Spurs.
Yeah, it was awesome. This team is so fun to watch. There's no boring stop it mid-court, set up plays. It's just go, 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 go. The defense, you never know what's going to happen. It's so exciting. It's a beautiful brand of basketball. They haven't played this type of brand of basketball since they were calling you CIP.
Dude, you know what's great, too? It's not just one guy, but there's so many guys right now who are contributing to this team in their 10-4 start. And I think people are enjoying it because the energy, but also they're getting it done with defense, Duke.
Absolutely. These boys have taken to heart know your role because they all know their role.
Dude, it's so great, man. I tell you what. So how are you doing now? You're back at work. You're healthy. Is that right? That's what you're telling me?
Yeah, finally back. Decided broke my arm, dislocated my elbow and shoulder, taking my dog to the dog park. Great. My goodness. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I was on an electric scooter. And I was going down a hill of sand, and lo and behold, there's a rock buried underneath. Woo! Over the handlebars, and I scorpioned. My buddy was just dying laughing.
Dude, you don't want to have those type of injuries, but you're back, man. You got to call in more. I text with you all the time. It's so great to have you on.
Yeah, I know. But, I get busy right about, as you know, 4:30, 5 o'clock, when my phone conveniently starts to ring.
That's right, because of this right here.
Someone plays my message. Oh, Lord.
Hi, this is Bill Shanley. If you're trying to get a hold of Duke, one of the best UPS guys around, he's not available right now, but he'll get back to you just as soon as he possibly can. Rip City.
You got to admit, that's a pretty sweet voicemail, Duke, and you're still using it today, right?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Thanks
okay.
to you.
Yeah.
It was gone. I'd lost my phone, and I called good old Chad, and he sent me the file, and there it is.
Well, Duke, make sure you check
There
in
it
again,
is.
man. Make sure you check in again. Call the fifth quarter anytime you want, and let's continue to enjoy this wave that we're on right now with the Blazers early play at 10-4.
Excellent. Hey, just one more thing, Chad. Josh called in. Josh, the UPS driver.
Yes.
Come on, buddy. You know, there's only one UPS driver, and it's the original. Duke, the UPS man.
That's true,
My
Duke.
title.
That's true, Duke, but you got to give it up for Josh. His wife allows him to go to games with his hairdresser while she's at home with the kids. That is man's game right there, all right? I respect you, Duke, but Josh has got game too. I can have two UPS drivers, can't I? Then again, Josh doesn't have Bill Shanley on his voicemail either. Let's go back out to the phones. Paul in Salem. Paul, welcome to the fifth quarter. You're up. Fire away.
Hey, what's going on, Chad? I just had a couple questions for you.
Yes.
Thank goodness we got Eubanks because Nurk is about as explosive as a small firecracker, maybe a sparkler. But I wanted to ask you about Shaden.
Yes.
Do you think he could be a potential superstar?
Yes.
I do too. And, people may think we're crazy, but I've just never seen the last time I saw talent out of a 19-year-old, if I'm crazy about saying this, is Kobe. And I'm not saying he's going to be Kobe. Very few people ever can be Kobe. But I just haven't seen anything like him in like 20, 30 years.
Well, that's because there hasn't been anyone like him in a long time. Think about it, man. He didn't play college basketball. He played 5 minutes in summer league, and then he was out for an extended period of time. He's 19 years old, and yet he's already placed a demand on the coaching staff to get him on the floor. And it's not just that, but look at the way he operates out there. He moves at a different pace. He doesn't look nervous. He's very comfortable and calm. He's at peace with his game. And with that, as he continues to learn and develop with the fact that he's getting regular minutes, think about how much better he'll be midseason, at the end of the year, going into year two. I'm excited to see what type of jumps we're going to see with Shaden Sharp. He's got the potential, based on what I've seen so far, to not just be a legit player, but like you said, a star.
I think he'll be not only a star, I think he'll be a superstar. And at the NBA Combine, didn't he have measure out a 40-inch or 48-inch vertical?
I can't remember the exact number, but it was ridiculous, and he's got that absurd wingspan as well.
How is that even possible? Okay. One last thing, and I'm sorry if you already talked about this, but what do you think about the PDX unis?
I'm not a fan, only because I like jerseys that represent the team's natural colors. And the problem I have with the PDX jerseys is that I don't see any red, white, or, well, they've got the black. But it's like, I see the teal or whatever that is with the carpet. I understand what they're trying to do, but I'm a traditionalist when I want some type of connection to the team's traditional colors. And when I think Trailblazers, I don't think teal and black. I think red and white.
Exactly, I'm with you. I like the PDX, but not the colors. We ain't the Jacksonville Jaguars. But all right, man. I just wanted to ask a few questions. I appreciate it, bro.
Oh, you got it, man. Anytime, Paul. Anytime. Chris, didn't we talk about this with the jerseys? It's simple economics, right? If you put more jerseys out, more people are going to buy because they want the latest and greatest, and you make more money instead of having just one jersey on the market or two.
Yeah, it wasn't a Kevin Costner movie, so if you print it, it will sell or something like that?
I'll tell you what, if they keep playing like this, they can wear whatever jersey they want, and I'll support it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're going to play defense in teal, that's fine.
Yeah, hey, and you know me. I'm in the small group over here. I like the PDX carpet.
If they go with the Oregon Trail jerseys, I'd be okay with that. Like, if you can mix in the Oregon Trail video game and put that on a jersey, I'll support whatever jerseys they come out with after that.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see. Let's go back out to the phones. Dan in Southeast. What's up, Dan?
What's going on, Chad? A W is a W, man. Thrilled to see the win tonight. I'm not going to dignify the wet blanket with a direct response, but I will say that I can see how somebody who didn't follow the Blazers closely might come to that conclusion because they didn't play anywhere near to a perfect game tonight, right? Game looked off. They had a lot of turnovers, which has always been the problem. In fact, when they were going back and forth in the third quarter, I was like, this feels, tempo-wise, this feels uncomfortably like previous Blazers rosters. It's just kind of this, a lot of back and forth, a lot of turnovers, a lot of offense, and I'm like, it didn't have the same feel necessarily as a lot of these wins have had. But I would submit that the mark of a good team is a team that overcomes shoddy play. Like, they didn't get much from Nurk. They turned it over like crazy. Like, they had a lot of Achilles heels. And the good teams are the ones that find a way to persevere through that and get it done, and that's exactly what they did. So I also wanted to say I took a look. It's worth noting that the Blazers, at this point in the season, they've had the second toughest schedule. Not only that, I went ahead and took a look at the remaining schedule. This past road trip, easily their toughest road trip of the season. Easily. They've got another 4-game swing with like 3 out of the 4 playoff teams. Every other road trip is at least 50% like tank teams. Like, they've got a 6-game trip later in the season, but 2 of them are back-to-back against OKC. There's a Houston game in there. This was strictly from a schedule standpoint, this really seemed like the biggest hurdle of the season, which says nothing but good things about what's to come. I find this Nurk situation interesting, and I would ask you, because I wasn't going to go all the way back through the last however many seasons Nurk's been here. Was that 5 seasons? Has there ever been a true center on this roster that gives a lot of the same things Nurk does that would actually push for minutes? Because I couldn't think of one. I mean, like some backups maybe playing out of position that you really don't want to play 30 minutes a game or whatever, like, maybe Ed Davis. But you couldn't play Cantor, you starters minutes, or not without really sacrificing a lot on the defensive end. I just don't know that we've had somebody on the roster that could potentially push Nurk for the lion's share of the minutes at center. And I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just observing that it's maybe a situation that he hasn't had to deal with before, and presents an interesting challenge for Billups. But as long as they're winning, I think he's going to continue to have the authority to say, look, I'm going to go with who's hot. If you're having an off night or your head's not in or whatever the case may be, it's totally understandable, happens. But I got options, and I'm not afraid to use them, and I love that.
Yeah.
I love Shaden Sharp's game tonight. He's not going to get Rookie of the Year, I don't think, because I think Paulo Banchero's got that locked up.
I agree.
Averaging 23 and 8 or something right now. But I love the game because I've complained before about how and you've seen it too, Chad, these games where he's just kind of sitting in the corner, pretty passive, just waiting for a pass, and it just seems like all the action's on the other side of the floor, and they're not ignoring him, but he's not engaged. And I wasn't sure what that was about, but I love the fact that, a previous caller said he had those 13 in the first half. I don't know that he had maybe one basket in the second half, and that's great. That's fine. For a young player like that, that just means that he's picking his spots and allowing the offense to come to him. He's not demanding shots. That can come with time. It's been, 4 weeks or whatever it's been in the season. Like, that kind of letting the game come to him and taking opportunities when they're given to him in the flow of the offense, that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. And I don't really want to see Shaden Sharp demanding the ball and taking shots from, other borderline all-star players. And by the way, Jeremy Grant is going to make the all-star team at this point, even before Dame does. He's playing outstanding. Last but not least, I want to give a shout-out to the fans tonight because listening to the game, I was unable to attend, but you couldn't have told me that was a November game. It's a November game against a team under 500, and the crowd's going nuts. They love this team. I love this team. Great season so far. Let's keep it up and Rip City, baby.
All right, Dan. As usual, terrific phone call. Chris, don't you think with what Dan was referring to with Nurk, that with Eubanks' emergence, that the best way to play it is just go with the hot hand? And it's not just Nurk. I think he'll look to other guys on the bench, and if you're playing well and making an impact, he'll ride the hot hand. And why wouldn't you do that? It makes perfect sense.
Well, I'll say this. I do like that Billups has shown that that's the way he likes to coach, right? I hate always bringing up Stotts all the time, but Stotts was like, okay, this guy's hot, but my rotation says it's time to make a sub. Like, Billups goes with who's hot, and you've seen it before. I mean, if it hasn't been Eubanks, you've seen Winslow in those situations instead of Nurk. So I like that. Play into what's out there on the court, play into what's strong, play into who's playing well.
And I think for a coach, it's okay to have some consequence, right? If you're not getting the job done, if you're not playing well, if you're in foul trouble, you're not engaged, then go to someone else that is and is getting the job done and provide some reward and consequence for the way guys are playing. I think that's a perfect way to do it. And he's right. Dan was right. Nurk has never had anyone behind him that could really push him for minutes because the guys behind him were subpar at best. But now you've got a guy in Eubanks who doesn't have the same talent level or skill set, but he's consistent, as you and I have talked about. And with the way he's playing, Chauncey will not hesitate to keep Eubanks on the floor.
One thing, too, I think the closest that he's had was probably Ennis Cantor at the time, right? But the difference was Ennis was superior offensively, especially around the rim, but defensively was just a liability. You couldn't afford to play him. Drew Eubanks, he's shown that he can get buckets when you need to, but defensively, he's been better than Nurk this year.
There's no question. All right, if you're on hold, stay there. We'll take more of your phone calls when we come back. Great phone calls tonight. Blazers get a come-from-behind win, 117-110 over the Spurs. And with that win, they're now 10-4 atop the Western Conference, with Brooklyn coming to town on Thursday. And the recurring theme for the team so far this season, strength in numbers, multiple guys making game-winning plays to get them over the top. 503-248-0620, or you can check us out on our live YouTube link. Go to Rip City Radio on YouTube, click on the live link, and you can check us out in studio. It's the fifth quarter on 620 Rip City Radio. All right, telephone number 503-248-0620. Fifth quarter, Blazers over the Spurs tonight at Moda Center, 117-110. Chad Doing and Chris Burkhart with you. 503-248-0620. You can also join us on YouTube. Go to Rip City Radio on YouTube and click on our live link. We also tweeted out a link. You can find me there at Chad in Rip City and check us out and see what things look like in the studio. 503-248-0620. But now it's time for the drive of the night.
It's time for the Portland Trailblazers Drive of the Night here on the fifth quarter, hosted by Chad Doing, 620 Rip City Radio. Drive of the Night is brought to you by Dick's Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Wilsonville, ready to compete with the lowest prices in town.
Here's Johnson, another three. That's no good. Rebound tipped by Bassey. Dame's got it. Now he leads it up to Simons, 2-on-1. Simons to the rim, left hand, yes! 2-point game. Timeout, Spurs. 106-104. 4:21 to play in the fourth quarter. And as the Blazers go cold from three, Michael, what do? Take it to the rim.
All right, the Blazers 117-110 winners over the Spurs. The only downside to having a live YouTube link in the studio is I get ridiculous comments. Tony in Portland chimed in to let me know that, hey, it's time for the haircut, bro. You're showing a lot of gray. I know, and I can't stop it. There's a lot of things I'm noticing as I get older that I'm not down with. Excessive gray hair, and I refuse. I'm never going to color. I'm not going to go fake. I'm not doing it. And also, I'm noticing hair popping up in places where I never desired hair. And I've got to self-groom. I'm not down with that either. And no one ever warns you for this crap. It just happens as you get older, and it's not fun. 503-248-0620. Let's go out to Carmine in Southeast. Carmine, welcome to the fifth quarter. You're up, fire away.
Chaz, 5'8", 150 pounds of fury. Ding.
I love it, man. I love the fury.
Chaz doing what it doing and what it do. First in the West. I want every Blazer maniac to repeat after me. First in the West or first in the West? First in the West.
Yeah,
Did anyone expect this?
No, of course not. I didn't.
No, and no one did, especially after the preseason. But I mean, it's been brought up, but the main thing is the coaching and the defense and the athletes. I'm going to say that again: coaching, defense, athletes. Most NBA teams can put the ball in the cup per se and score the ball. What can you do with energy, athletes, defense? And these Blazers are doing it. I will say real quick, Kenny's first call, I was going to tell my friends, hey, Nurk missed 2 layups in the first quarter, and that was kind of annoying. But I'm trying not to go negative this year, Chaz. I'm trying to go positive. So my friends will actually talk to me about Blazers. What do you think about that?
I think it's good. Just don't talk about Nurk, and you can keep it positive.
Oh, yeah, that's a rough one. Yeah, I mean, that's just, it's got to be a trade or something. Eubanks is a superior player. When he came in there, I was like, okay, here we go. So there was that, but I would just set the scene on what it's like for every Blazer maniac, and I am one of them. It's a sickness, but it's a great sickness. I'm sitting here having a great night, watching the game, and I said, we're going to lose the whole game. I said, I'm irrational. We are going to lose. And then they didn't go through the motions. Oh, by the way, Turtle just got another layup. Turtle just scored again. That was kind of weird. He had like 77 points, Turtle. I've heard of him before, but he just scored again. And once the fourth quarter got going, and I'm saying, okay, we're going to win. So what's it like to be a Blazer maniac? To be completely just like F word, grumpy night, and to elation, feeling the best of the night of like, whoa, we can be a good team for all these reasons everyone has laid out, besides Tim, the worst take ever. Camby, get out of here, Camby. You're canceled. Tim and Camby is canceled. I'm pretty sure he had the under in Vegas, because if you took the over, I think it was 38, 39, you would cash that ticket. So, Tim, don't ever call again. And other than that, I'm just going to walk my dog, and feel in the clouds elation about being a Blazer maniac, Rip City, until I die. I'm getting the tattoo, and when are we playing golf?
Yeah, I'm in, dude. I told you, I play golf all the time. Anytime you want to go play. And we're experiencing some dry weather right now, which is very nice. 503-248-0620. And we're not canceling anyone. Look, we've all had bad takes before. I'm a repeat offender. We all have bad takes. It's okay. Always welcome on the show. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. Let's go to Wyatt from the east side, where we know the great Drew Eubanks hails from. What's up, Alex? Wyatt, welcome to the show.
Oh, hey, Chad. Thanks for taking my call again.
You got it.
No, I just wanted to, people have been pretty much covering everything I really had to say, but I called in a couple weeks ago, and I made a little mention that I whispered it about Coach O the year. And you know what? This guy knows how to make adjustments. He knows how to get his players to play under those circumstances. He turns things around in the middle of the game. I'm sold. I wasn't sold to begin with, I swear, but I am sold on Chauncey, man. I think he's the real deal. But the players also, they deserve a lot of credit. They're doing the work, but they have bought in and they're playing his game, and he deserves a lot of credit.
No, he does, Wyatt. I appreciate your thoughts on that, because you're right with Chauncey. You can tell by the way the guys are playing. One, they're committing to playing defense. They're staying connected. He's laid a plan and a system for how he wants them to execute on both ends. Better distribution, player movement, ball movement on offense. We're seeing more of that, and we're seeing them stay more connected defensively. And that comes from the coach. And then just listen to how they talk. They're speaking like their coach. They're taking on his personality. And obviously he's got their ear, because they're hearing what he wants from them. He's coaching it up in practice, and now we're seeing the execution on the floor. That's a sign of good coaching.
Without a doubt, but without not even just bringing the players on board, the in-game adjustments that he is making are truly pretty cool. I'm loving it. Show me your Blazers.
That's right, man. No, it is. We're seeing a lot of that. He's mixing up the defenses between, zone and man, so you're giving teams something different to look at, and the combinations of players we're seeing out there. The mixing of lineups, not being afraid to play some of the youngsters at times. Tonight we saw Eubanks get an extended run because he was playing well. I mean, all of these things factor in. Let's go to Drew in Portland. Drew, welcome to the fifth quarter, buddy. Fire away.
Hey, Chad. So, yeah, I was there tonight, and I was thinking, if the Spurs go up 8 points, we're probably not going to win that game. It was just had that feel to it, and I felt that by not letting them build their late fourth quarter lead, that it just kind of turned things around for the team, and they started making shots and playing good defense, and the place went crazy. And I think that that'd have been a bad loss, Chad. Right? I mean,
Yes.
You can't lose to the under 500 Spurs at home when you could be 10-4 and you're 9-5.
Yes, and this is a game they would have lost over the last few years, because that's what we saw. They didn't play defense. They didn't buckle down when they had to. They weren't making clutch plays. But this team now, and I said it going into the game tonight, now we're going to find out what they're really about when you come back home and you're playing a team that you're supposed to beat or you're a big favorite. How do you respond? They didn't play perfect, but they did what was needed to get the job done. That's what winning teams do.
I can't wait for this team to get real comfortable dropping the big shots in front of their fans, in front of the best teams. That's what like that shot when Simons hit it with 1 second left and it went in. Like, imagine if he'd done that on, the Bucks or something like that. I'm just saying. I can't wait for us to get to that point.
Well, it's
but
coming.
Go Blazers.
Yeah, go Blazers. Yeah.
That's exactly it. It's coming. Go Blazers.
Yeah, and that's the best part. Think about that, Burkhart. Like, this team right now, 10-4, and they're far from playing their best basketball. They're still learning the system from Billups on both ends. They don't even have Gary Payton II. Guys are still getting used to their roles. Like, a lot of people are worrying about what could go wrong, but I also look at it from the other side of things, too. Like, what if they continue to develop defensively and they continue to show better player movement and ball movement on offense? Gary Payton II gets comfortable. Chauncey gets more comfortable with trying to figure out his rotation. I mean, this team, there's a lot of room for improvement, even though they're 10-4.
There's a ton. There's a ton of room for improvement. And at practice on Monday, Jeremy Grant talked about that. He's like, we can be a lot better on defense. And someone was like, you can be better. He's like, yeah. He's like, we're missing a lot of communication stuff, still kind of learning, feeling each other out, and we don't have Gary and blah, blah. And it's like, and what did I say the other day? That I think his biggest asset, he being Gary Payton, is the fact that he can quarterback that defense. Those communication errors that other people are having might not happen when Gary's on the floor because he's going to get them in the right spot. So when a guy like Grant, who's been very good on the defensive end, says, yeah, like we could be better and we know it and this is why, like, not only does it show you that they're aware that they could be better, but they know what those problems are, and you know that coach is addressing those.
See, there's more to it than just the results of the game, but this whole process that they're going through, and we've heard Lamar Hurd talk about this, the process, continuing to focus in practice, Coach Billups emphasizing the things that he wants to see done in terms of execution. That's what it's all about. Let's go out to Milwaukee. Alex in Milwaukee. Alex, welcome to the show. You're up, fire away.
Hey, Chad. I just want to say one thing to get off the program is show me your blazer.
Show me your blazer. That's what I'm talking about.
Hell yeah, brother. All right, so what I want to say is that, I've noticed the same trend under Stotts as Billups. As much as I love Billups and his adjustments mid-game and being able to just really have a feel for the game, is that I feel like the major difference is that under Stotts, and the same thing that's happening now, is we get down in the third quarter. But whereas the old Blazers, I mean, old is the wrong term, but just the past regimes might kind of give in and go, we'll get them the next night. This team fights through and finds a way to figure it out in the fourth. And, we've been down 17, 15. We've had these really poor third quarters, but figured it out in the fourth quarter to fight back and win. And I think that resilience is going to give the team a lot of confidence going forward in the second half, especially hopefully once, like other people have said, we get Gary Payton back and, we start figuring out this defense and we start figuring out all these little things that are happening. I think those third quarter lapses slow down and maybe instead of 17 points, it's 9 points. And our deficits are less so that we have less to overcome. In the fourth quarter, I think we're start blowing people out. I think that's when the league is going to start recognizing the significant jump and recognition that this team is garnered. I don't think we're there yet in the eyes of the media, but I think once we do those things, I think the media is going to really take notice. I think that's when we have to focus on whether or not the Blazers can follow through because we haven't got the media behind us. And I think it's really difficult to, once you get kind of the recognition, to continue that going forward. But I think once we do that, I think we will have the ability to really stick it to teams in the fourth quarter.
Well, one thing for certain, Alex, if they continue to win games and they're getting after it defensively the way that they are right now, the recognition will come. Just keep winning, and winning will solve all of that. And I know people get upset because, the power rankings that came out last week had the Blazers at number 10, and, people are slow to come around, but that's okay. We're tucked away in the Northwest. But if they keep playing like this, and Jeremy Grant keeps playing like an all-star, and they keep winning games, Chauncey is on course to be Coach of the Year. Dame, if they continue to win and win with defense, and they come out of nowhere to surprise, he'll be in the MVP conversation. And Jeremy Grant's playing the best basketball of his career. He has a chance to make the All-Star team. You know, the recognition and accolades will come. But you just got to continue to handle business and win games. That's all it takes. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. People are in a good mood, Chris. We're noticing a trend here with Blazer maniacs, and they should be.
A very good mood. The YouTube chat is popping off. People are watching. I mean, that gets me excited, puts me in a good mood. So, yeah, it's a good night overall.
All right, we'll come back, and we'll continue to take your phone calls. We'll probably take a trip out to East Amity, see what Ralph the Landscaper's up to. We'll get to our shot of the night. And I'll give you an NBA scoreboard report as well. The Blazers now 10-4. They sit atop the Western Conference by themselves. They top the Spurs 117-110. Coming up on Thursday, Kevin Durant is in town. The Brooklyn Nets tip off at 7. Game day will start at 4:30 here on 620 Rip City Radio.
Turn this on because we're not in A, so we won't go on the radio. I can pop back in. Hey there, Rip City. Look at, we're doing a live look-in just for the YouTube. Not on the radio, just for the YouTube. I'm showing off all the fancy technology to my guy Chad here.
Man, you're a wizard, Chris. This guy right here is a freak. An absolute freak.
Yeah, and you guys are awesome. The chat's popping off. We'll be back in about a minute and a half, but I just had to show them the fanciness that is technology.
Well, another night, another Trailblazer victory, 117-110 over the San Antonio Spurs, and it really was strength in numbers once again for Portland. Jeremy Grant continued his all-star play, had a team-high 29 points, 6 of 8 from downtown. He was a freak. Damian Lillard didn't have the shot going tonight, but had a great floor game, 22 points and 11 assists. And Anthony Simons, once again, 23 points, 3 guys with 20 or more. Simons was 5 of 10 from 3, and then you had multiple guys who made an impact. Josh Hart tonight, 34 minutes, 6 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. One of those steals led to a key jam late in the game to put them ahead. And off the bench, Shaden Sharp, 13 points on 5 of 7 shooting. And the real key tonight, how about Drew Eubanks against his former team? 9 points, 7 boards, 4 of 5, great energy, and was a tremendous difference maker tonight. He was Johnny on the spot, and I love his toughness. I love the way he's playing right now. And the Trailblazers tonight, once again, turnovers an issue. The Spurs got 31 points off 17 Trailblazer turnovers, but with their energy and their defense, especially with what we saw in the fourth quarter, Portland forced 19 turnovers and was able to convert that into 25 points. The Spurs dominated the paint tonight with a 66-46 edge, thanks to Jakob Poeltl, who was dominant tonight for the Spurs. In fact, very annoying in his play. 31 minutes, he had 31 points, 14 rebounds. He was a freak. And I don't like the Blazers getting dominated by guys like Jakob Poeltl. He made 14 of his 17 shots. They dominated the paint tonight, but the Blazers, like good teams do, you find a way to win the games on nights when you don't have your best stuff. We'll go to the phones here in a moment, 503-248-0620, but let's get to our shot of the night.
It's time for the Nothing But Net Shot of the Night here on the fifth quarter, 620 Rip City Radio. The Nothing But Net Shot of the Night is brought to you by Oregon Dungeness Crab. Sustainably harvested, uniquely delicious, and always wild. Oregon Dungeness Crab always sounds good for dinner.
Simons will bring it across. Blazers in front by 1. 3:34 to play in the fourth quarter. Dame on the wing near side. Vassell defending him. Holds the ball off of his left hip. Gives it up to Grant. Hands it back to Dame. Dame a deep 3 on the way. Buries it from Dame distance. 110-106 Trailblazers. Dame's got 22.
All right, Blazers get the win. Let's go back out to the phones. Let's go to Ralph, the landscaper. Ralphie, welcome back to the show, buddy.
Hey, Chan, how you been doing?
Very well. How about yourself?
Well, good. You know, I'm kind of in a little bit of a stupor here because, you know, in the cartoons where the guy gets hit with a mallet and then his head kind of, you know, bobs around back and forth like that.
I love that. Yeah, I used to watch those cartoons all the time when I was younger.
Yeah, but then there's the whistling sound. as the head turns around in circles, you know, I'm kind of in that situation because I'm watching you on the YouTube right now. The channel is Rip City Radio, and that's 3 words here in case anybody needs that assistance. But that's what makes me stupefied here. You know, I mean, you know, you and I've met a handful of times, and you know, I got to say, you know, you know me, you're getting more handsome as the years go by.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. Someone was cracking on me for having gray coming through, and it's time for a haircut. But I was always told by my Nana that every good meal requires a little salt and pepper. Isn't that true?
Yeah, and let me tell you a secret, Chan. Maybe you know this, and you just don't want to say it. But women like the salt and pepper. And you know there's a few of them I think that are on the YouTube and they can comment on that it's, you know, let's just face facts. George Clooney, okay?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. We'll start and stop right there. And they just like this thing, and you know I'm
glad you mentioned George Clooney because he's like one of the most handsome individuals I've ever seen in my life. And if I can be compared to in any way, shape, or form, even if it's only because of salt and pepper, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, you know, Nick Thompson on YouTube is a guy that, you know, I think has some things in life figured out, and he probably would agree with us on this. So But I do want to make a comment, and your producer guy, I don't know what his title is there yet, Chris. He seems like a good kid, and
yes,
and he's the one who put this YouTube deal together, huh?
Yes, he's a technical genius, and he's doing like dual producing roles right now for the radio and YouTube. He's phenomenal.
Yeah, and it's good that he has multiple skills, And Nick Thompson on YouTube would also know that the team has a lot of players that can do multiple things. They can play defense, they can shoot a three enough, they can go inside a little bit here, and that's an important thing that they can do that. But I want to commend your guy there for putting it on YouTube, because that takes some ability to do it and live stream and all that sort of stuff.
No question.
Because it's important. But I do have one concern. Now he may not know this, but I've kind of coached some of your previous fellas that you've had there, right?
That's right. You did with Jay Allen, with Steven, and with Kyle Nishida.
Yes, and they all have two of them at least have moved on to what they would consider bigger, better things in their career.
No question.
Okay. And they all appreciated my help, and I was honest with them, and sometimes they didn't agree, and then they'd go home, and their wife would say, that Ralph the landscaper, he's right, because he actually is telling you the truth. And they would kind of come around to it. Well, I want to comment. I'm not sure if he's open to my input and my support and my coaching, but your guy there, Chris, I talked about your hair and that it looks good and the ladies would find it attractive. If I saw him on the street, I would be scared because of his grooming regimen is a little bit lacks some things. It has some things that need to be desired. Now, if he had he can do something unique with his hair and all that, but he looks very Portland stalker with the hair pulled back in the man bun, and he's got dark hair, and he kind of looks generally like a serious fella. So I think that he needs to, maybe go on one of those TV shows.
Wow.
Maybe you can work a deal, get him on one of those TV shows.
Oh, Ralph.
They'll clean him up and get him all fixed up.
Ralph, since you're watching on YouTube, I let it down for you. Look at that. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Now, what is that? That's like your island hair, right?
It's my island hair. It's what happens when your family's from Hawaii and you grew up as an islander and you got island tattoos on your arm. And my wife loves it. It's my inner Troy Polamalu, man.
Yeah.
I understand that, but your wife loves it, but your career probably doesn't.
No. That's the thing, though. I'm on radio now. It didn't work for me on TV.
Well, you're on YouTube. That's as far as I know. Do they have cameras on YouTube, Chan?
They do. There's cameras on YouTube.
You got to get through the YouTube then, there, Ralph, because I'm still middle of the road. I ain't the best, but I ain't the worst.
Yeah, Ralph. He's like Samson. He gets his strength from his hair.
Now that kid that's sitting there back there behind you. I don't know. I forgot what his name is.
Preston.
Yeah. Now you need to look more like that right there, because then the TV people will start calling you and say, hey, can you come in and sit in and do some TV on the Blazers and all that?
Let me simplify this for you, Ralphie. Preston is from Tualatin, and our man Chris here grew up in Gresham.
Hey, now.
Are you sure Chris isn't from, State Street in Salem, Oregon?
State Street in Salem.
Hey, Bruh, don't talk to me like that, bruh.
No, I'm just trying to help you here. See, Alan resisted, and so did Kyle, and so did the other kids at first, but then they realized, he's onto something here, and they excelled in their careers once they caught on.
But at this point, if I got rid of this beautiful mane of island hair as I zoom back into this one shot on YouTube, my wife would divorce me.
Yeah,
and that is worth more. That's worth more than my TV job and my career prospects. Got to keep the wife happy, man.
Well, your wife would be happy if your paycheck was triple the size that it is too.
Dude,
and with that shag, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but you make the decisions. I see you're an Oregon Duck fan, so I'll tell you one thing. I watched this show, Chan. Have you ever seen the show on it's called Reels now, that the channel, it's called Jail, where they highlight jails and people coming into the jail. And
I have seen that. Yes.
Yeah, all the havoc. They do Portland, and he looks like one of the guys that would show up there, and they would comb through his hair and find little remnants of a green leafy substance, and then pretty soon, well, okay, he's got a private little cell there, and they'll do some deeper checking. But he's a good kid, and I don't want him to have that image or portray that. If I saw you on the street, I'd go, oh, this guy looks like he's pretty smart. He looks like he's an accountant and probably has a lot of money. I know money, and he has a lot of money, so.
I'm curious, with your crews, like all the different guys you have working for you, do you have like any type of dress code or grooming requirements for your crew, or is it pretty much a free-for-all? How does that work?
Yeah. Now, here's what I do. I mentioned this to you in the past, Chan. Here's the dress code. The dress code is you need to be presentable and appealing to females, because they're the ones who are going to decide most of these money decisions in houses and businesses. And so what I do, as you may remember this, Lucy and now Lizzie, who manages my office, when a new hire comes in, they come in the office, she looks them over. There's something wrong. So anyway,
now,
Chad,
now I have
just
to
wanted
apologize, Chad, because he got me thrown off the game. He got me thrown off my game. I tried to change my headphones out. I pulled out the wrong plug. Then YouTube's telling me they lost audio, and it's all my fault. And it's all because of Ralph.
Yeah, Ralphie, you're throwing us off our game here. That's all right.
Well, I'm trying to help him. I'm trying to help him be a better man. And I think if, as I said, if his paycheck was, hey, I got a raise, but I had to get a haircut, and I'm going to donate my hair to Locks for Love for some cancer patients who do, nice do out of this, and they're going to be looking good, and they're going to be styling, and that your wife will go along with that.
Well, Ralphie, I want to go out on a job with you sometime to see how you operate. I really want to do that, a ride along. Can I do that sometime with you?
Yeah, well, yeah, you can do that, and I know you've been in my office and you've met Lizzie, and I'm going to tell her to turn in this YouTube deal and see you, because when I had her meet you the first time, she said he's okay looking, is what she said, and now you kind of a little more cleaned up and looks like you're a little more together. Maybe all that golf is doing you some good.
Yeah.
It's yeah, and the dog catcher on YouTube, he's an interesting sort too. But you go, if you want to find out all these people that have these opinions, some of which I would not endorse, but it's Rip City Radio is the YouTube channel that Chris put up, and he made it all happen. Apparently, you guys got more cameras coming in, huh?
We do. We got more cameras. They were supposed to be dropped off today, but there was a little mishap in terms of the delivery driver and his inability to get through the front door. So I'm going to try and resolve that for tomorrow.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. I understand that, because when I took money out of my pocket and I sent you that little Russell Wilson football
that I have right here.
I need you to hold that up for the camera, but they tried to deliver that, and they were unable to deliver it in the middle of the day. Now, did you guys fire your receptionist, or what happened there?
We don't know. I asked Chris where the receptionist guy is, and we can't find him. We don't know what's going on there.
There, yeah. Well,
I haven't seen him since I showed up. I think he was intimidated by these locks.
Well, he could be. You know, it's a good set of hair. Oh, I mean, I'm not going to take that away from you. I'm just saying, you know, hey, there it is. I just saw it on the YouTube right there.
Yeah.
That's that came from my hard-earned money, Chan. Just so you know that. So, all right. Well, you guys have a good night here, and it's good talking to you as always. And I'm glad that Chris got you up on the YouTube and all that stuff. So. We'll check in later, and it's Rip City Radio. I am cutting promos for you, Chan, for your YouTube deal.
I know. I gotta cut a check for you, man. I appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, no, I don't need your money. I'd feel guilty if I took your money. All right, see you later.
You got it. There's Ralphie. All right. Chris brings up a good point. Why does Ralph the landscaper always crack on the Rip City Radio crew? Because he loves. He kids because he loves. You can add Chris to the list along with Jay Allen, the principal Curtis Long, Kyle Nishida, and Stephen Vaughn. And I don't want you to cut the hair, Chris. You got to keep those locks, man. You're an island guy. You get your strength from your hair, and your wife loves it.
It's my mana.
I love it.
I got a lot of pride in it. Now, to be fair, Ralph is correct. It does need a little trim up, needs to be fixed, but, finding a good barber around here. That's why I got to hit you up and find where the proper barbers is the go-to, sponsor of the Rip City Drive.
And I've learned this over time. When you have hair, there's nothing wrong at all with letting it flow. You got hair. A lot of guys don't. They would like to have that problem.
My grandfather had a horseshoe, a full horseshoe of hair. Rest his soul. It was a beautiful horseshoe. And everyone picks on me. They're like, oh, Burkhart, you're going gray. I'm like, yeah, I don't have my grandpa's horseshoe, so if I got the hair, I'm letting it down, letting it flow.
All right, let's get you up to date around the association with the scoreboard report.
620 Rip City Radio presents the Scoreboard Report, brought to you by the Stadium Sports Bar and Grill, A-Linnae's ultimate venue for sports fans every Monday night, featuring beer and wing specials and more.
All right, take a look around the association tonight. In New Orleans, the Pelicans topped the Grizzlies 113-102. C.J. McCollum with 30 points and 9 assists. Memphis falls to 9-6. New Orleans now 8-6. In Dallas, the Mavericks edged the Clippers 103-101. Dallas now 8-5. L.A. 8-7. Doncic, another big night with 35 points and 11 rebounds. In Utah, the Knicks over the Jazz 118-111. New York improves to 7-7. Utah now 10-6. The Jazz will be in town on Saturday. Brunson had 25 points and 8 assists. And in Sacramento, a wild game. The Kings over the Nets 153-121. 153 points by the Kings. What in the world's going on there? Sacramento now 7-6. And Brooklyn falls to 6-9. And in Portland, the Trailblazers over the Spurs 117-110. Portland now 10-4. They're atop the Western Conference. San Antonio falls to 6-9. And that is your NBA scoreboard report. All right, Chris, any final thoughts you have on tonight's game? And now we can step back and get ready for Brooklyn.
For those of you out there with children, I highly suggest you go watch Moana. See what Maui looks like. Go watch Aquaman and my man Jason Momoa and those long locks. Go look at Troy Polamalu. There ain't nothing wrong with the long hair.
Yeah, Polamalu was a bad, bad boy.
He was.
One of the best safeties I've seen in my lifetime.
And an Oregon boy.
That's right. Justin Myers, host of Rip City Mornings. High school teammates with him and got invited back to Canton this year for the Pro Football Hall of Fame induction. How awesome is that?
That's pretty awesome.
All right, 10-4, and now Brooklyn's in town. How do you think, is it a concern that Brooklyn's coming off this blowout loss to Sacramento in terms of their response? Like, they'll be ready to play after what happened tonight in Sacramento.
It's not a concern that they came off the blowout loss because they haven't done a lot this year to prove that they're going to bounce back and all of a sudden be an Eastern Conference Finals type team. What's a concern is how, like, the game against San Antonio played out kind of early where the Blazers didn't pull away like you thought they would, and now you're looking at a team that has KD, and anytime KD gets hot and gets going, he's going to be tough to stop. So not super concerned, but I also wasn't concerned about the Huskies, so don't trust me.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Big thanks to all of you for joining us on YouTube. Phone callers tonight were terrific. Our next Blazer broadcast is going to come up on Thursday. Brooklyn is in town. Tip-off is at 7. We'll have game day starting at 4:30. Be sure to check out Justin Myers in the morning starting at 6, Rip City Mornings, and the Rip City Drive tomorrow with Dwight James and myself starting at 3 o'clock. Your final score tonight from Motor Center, the Portland Trailblazers over the San Antonio Spurs, 117-110. For Chris Burkhardt, I'm Chad Doing. Have a good night, my friends. We'll catch you tomorrow.